In February 1945, relentless bombing raids transformed the heart of Dresden into an inferno. Over 2 days, Allied aircraft dropped thousands of tons of explosives and incendiary devices, unleashing a firestorm that consumed the city center. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Tens of thousands perished, and survivors navigated a landscape of utter devastation. Historic buildings, cultural treasures, and countless homes were reduced to smoldering ruins. As World War II ended just months later, Dresden found itself within the Soviet occupation zone. The challenges were immense: displaced populations, lack of food and shelter, and the monumental task of clearing millions of cubic meters of rubble. During this period, the physical act of clearing began almost immediately. Women, often referred to as Trümmerfrauen or rubble women, played a crucial role, salvaging bricks and clearing pathways by hand or with basic tools. Initial plans for rebuilding were debated intensely. Some advocated for a complete modernization, creating a new socialist city. Others argued passionately for the restoration of Dresden's historic architectural identity. By 1949, the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany, was founded, placing Dresden firmly within its borders. State control heavily influenced Reconstruction priorities and architectural styles. Throughout the 1950s, Reconstruction efforts gained momentum, though progress was often slow. Decisions were made about which landmark structures would be saved or rebuilt. The Zwinger Palace complex, a jewel of Baroque architecture, became an early focus, symbolizing a commitment to cultural heritage. Work on the Zwinger proceeded gradually, painstakingly restoring its pavilions and galleries. Its partial reopening provided a morale boost for the city's inhabitants. Simultaneously, new housing blocks began to rise, often constructed using prefabricated panels in a style favored by the socialist government. The Altmarkt Square, historically the city's central marketplace, was redesigned and rebuilt. In the year 1956, discussions solidified around leaving the ruins of the Frauenkirche, the city's iconic domed church, as a war memorial. Its blackened stones and collapsed structure stood untouched amidst the surrounding reconstruction. During the 1960s, the pace of rebuilding continued. Large-scale projects aimed at creating modern infrastructure and public spaces alongside restored historical areas. A significant example of new construction was the Kulturpalast, a large multifunctional venue built in the international modernist style, completed towards the end of the decade. Architectural debates persisted. The desire to restore historic facades often clashed with the state's preference for contemporary socialist design and the practicalities of cost and speed. As events unfolded, a unique urban fabric emerged. Restored fragments of the old city stood near starkly modern structures, reflecting the complex political and cultural forces shaping post-war Dresden. By 1970, 25 years after the devastating raids, large parts of Dresden had been rebuilt. Yet the process was far from complete, and the visible reminders of the destruction, particularly the untouched ruin of the Frauenkirche, remained potent symbols of the war's enduring legacy. Throughout the 1970s, reconstruction work pressed onward, though economic constraints within the German Democratic Republic often dictated the pace and scale of projects. Resources were limited and priorities shifted. Significant effort during this period was directed towards rebuilding another major cultural landmark, the Semperoper, Dresden's magnificent opera house. It had been gutted by the firebombing. The meticulous reconstruction of the Semperoper spanned many years, requiring skilled artisans and immense state investment. Its planning and execution became a matter of national prestige for the GDR. In other parts of the city center, prefabricated housing projects known as Plattenbauten continued to fill gaps left by the war, providing much-needed accommodation but altering the city's traditional appearance. The contrast between painstakingly restored historical structures and functionalist modern buildings became even more pronounced. This duality reflected the ideological tensions of the era. The Frauenkirche ruin remained a powerful, silent testament. During these decades, it evolved into an unofficial site for peace gatherings and quiet reflection, particularly among church groups and peace activists within East Germany. As events unfolded in the 1980s, the push to complete the Semperoper intensified. Its reopening was planned as a major cultural event. In the year 1985, exactly 40 years after its destruction, the Semperoper reopened its doors with a celebratory performance. It marked a significant milestone in Dresden's long journey of recovery. Despite such achievements, many areas still bore the scars of 1945. Funding limitations meant that the restoration of numerous burger houses and smaller historic buildings lagged behind the major state-sponsored projects. The debate about the future of the Frauenkirche continued quietly. While officially designated a war memorial against fascism, grassroots movements began advocating for its eventual reconstruction, though such ideas were politically sensitive. By the late 1980s, the GDR faced mounting economic and political pressures. The visible state of ongoing reconstruction in Dresden mirrored the broader challenges confronting the East German state as it approached a period of profound change. In the year 1989, monumental political shifts began to sweep across East Germany. The fall of the Berlin Wall in November opened a new chapter for the entire country, including Dresden. Subsequently, German reunification in 1990 brought profound changes to the city's governance, economy, and the direction of its ongoing reconstruction efforts. Federal German resources became available, altering the scope of possibility. Almost immediately following reunification, public sentiment coalesced around a long-cherished, previously suppressed desire: the rebuilding of the Frauenkirche. A citizens' initiative launched the call from Dresden in early 1990, seeking international support. This appeal resonated globally. Donations poured in from individuals, foundations, and governments worldwide, reflecting a powerful symbol of reconciliation and rebirth. During this period, meticulous archaeological work commenced at the Frauenkirche site. Each salvaged stone was carefully documented and stored, with the aim of incorporating as much original material as possible into the reconstruction. Planning for the enormous undertaking involved complex engineering challenges and historical research to ensure authenticity. Debates occurred regarding the methods and the degree of faithful restoration versus modern interpretation. In the year 1994, the formal reconstruction of the Frauenkirche began. The cornerstone ceremony marked a deeply symbolic moment for Dresdeners and international observers alike. Throughout the 1990s and into the early 2000s, the structure slowly rose from its ruins. The painstaking process involved integrating salvaged stones with newly quarried sandstone, a visible testament to the fusion of past and present. Simultaneously, other restoration projects around the Neumarkt Square, the area surrounding the Frauenkirche, gained momentum. Private investment flowed into rebuilding historic burger houses, aiming to recreate the square's pre-war character. The ongoing reconstruction transformed the city center yet again. Cranes became a familiar part of the skyline as Dresden continued its decades-long process of healing and rebuilding. As events unfolded, the rising dome of the Frauenkirche became a powerful symbol not just of Dresden's resilience, but of post-reunification Germany and international cooperation. By the early 21st century, the exterior structure neared completion, culminating in the placement of the golden orb and cross atop the dome, crafted by a British silversmith, whose father had participated in the bombing raids, a poignant act of reconciliation. In the year 2005, 60 years after its destruction, the rebuilt Frauenkirche was formally consecrated. The event drew vast crowds and international dignitaries, marking the culmination of an extraordinary chapter in Dresden's post-war history. Following the consecration of the Frauenkirche in 2005, attention remained intensely focused on the Neumarkt Square surrounding the newly rebuilt church. The goal was to restore the historical urban ensemble that had once defined the area. During this period, numerous construction projects filled the remaining gaps around the square. Private developers and historical societies worked to reconstruct individual burger houses, often using historical plans and documentation. This phase involved debates about architectural authenticity. Decisions were made whether to create exact replicas of former buildings or allow for interpretations that blended historical forms with modern requirements. Subsequently, the Neumarkt gradually regained its appearance as a cohesive urban space, characterized by Baroque-style facades lining the square and adjacent streets. It became a major attraction, drawing visitors interested in the city's resurrection. Beyond the Neumarkt, other reconstruction and renovation efforts continued throughout Dresden. Attention turned to remaining war-damaged structures and the refurbishment of buildings from the GDR era. The integration of the rebuilt historic core with the modern sections of the city remained an ongoing process. Urban planners sought to create connections and improve infrastructure linking different districts. Throughout the early 21st century, Dresden solidified its reputation as a significant cultural center, leveraging its restored landmarks like the Frauenkirche, Zwinger, and Semperoper. Cultural tourism became increasingly important to the local economy. Yet the memory of the 1945 destruction remained deeply embedded in the city's identity. Commemorative events continued annually, often accompanied by discussions about peace, remembrance, and the complex legacy of the war. As events unfolded, Dresden navigated its identity as a city simultaneously old and new, a place where meticulous historical reconstruction coexisted alongside modern development and the enduring memory of catastrophic loss. The completion of the Frauenkirche marked a symbolic endpoint, but the evolution of the city's fabric continued.